Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you're here for the first time. My name is Hannah Olson and I live in Minnesota with my husband and our 3 children, Sophie, Soren, and Svea. Sophie is 6, Soren is 4, and Svea is almost 11 months. If you're new here, I'm an elementary teacher turned stay-at-home homeschooling mom, and I love what I do. This is my dream job, and I just love sharing about all things motherhood, homemaking, and homeschooling over here on YouTube. I also have a blog, and I'm also usually active over on Instagram in case you want to follow along in those ways as well. Today we're talking about spring picture books because I am very ready for spring, although it has been a more mild winter here in Minnesota, which has been amazing, especially with 3 young children. I do not mind not slipping around on the ice, and I love being able to bring my stroller out and about, but most of all, I am looking forward to spring and the warmer temperatures and all the new things growing. One of the things I love sharing most are book recommendations. I love to read, our whole family loves to read, and there's something really special about children's literature too. So even though over on my website, justbeblog.com, you can shop our family library, our home library, and see all sorts of books that we have, today I wanted to specifically share books that are spring related because we are looking forward to spring. I keep our spring picture book collection here at our apartment. We live in 2 different locations throughout the year, and we're always pretty much at our apartment from January through May every year, and that encompasses spring, of course. So I keep our spring picture books all together on a bookshelf so they are more readily accessible. I do have a couple I want to share with you today that are infused or mixed in with our other picture books, but I made sure to grab them because I wanted to include them as a sweet book to read in the springtime. All right, this first book is called Bunny's First Spring. It's by Sally Lloyd-Jones, who wrote the Jesus Storybook Bible. This is a cute little story about a bunny who has never experienced spring before because he was born the previous springtime, and he doesn't know what all is going on and if the world is going to be new again because he is first of all experiencing fall and winter. So he feels like everything is dying and of course everything is dormant, but he again learns that after winter is over he can peek out and spring is finally here. So this is a really cute one. We love having this in our collection. I have a couple little golden book recommendations in this spring picture book collection. We have Home for a Bunny and The Fuzzy Duckling. These are ones I put in a past Easter basket for Sophie and Soren, my oldest 2. I love how in this first book, Home for a Bunny, the bunny is looking for what is his home supposed to be, where does he live, and he visits other creatures. And then The Fuzzy Duckling is just a little duckling on an adventure. Sometimes these little golden books are just a simple plot line, but kids tend to really enjoy them. They're pretty predictable, but they're fun for this time of year, especially with these cute spring-related creatures. We have a great nonfiction one here, From Seed to Plant, and it's by Gail Gibbons. I really like her writing, especially for nonfiction stuff. We have one, I think, about stars or constellations by Gail Gibbons, and she really goes into, it's beautifully illustrated, but she goes into detail about, of course, how seeds turn into plants, and it's just a great thing for us, not only for homeschool, but it would be interesting, of course, for any family who wants to just delve into what really happens in the springtime and how plants grow. Our next one is called Miss Maple's Seeds, and this is one of my all-time favorites. If you saw my fall picture books recommendations or my fall picture book video, it had a book in it called Too Many Pumpkins. This has a similar feel, and I love it so much. It's so sweet, and I tear up every time. So Miss Maple is this woman, she's very small, so she rides on birds and stuff. She adopts seeds every year and nurtures them throughout the winter after she collects them. And she reads them stories, and then she takes them on little field trips, teaches them how to be a seed and how to be hardy and tough. And she has this wonderful phrase in here. She says, "Take care, my little ones, for the world is big and you are small." And that's also what she says when she sends the seeds off into the big world the next spring. After they have learned how to be a seed and learned how to grow, she, watches them all go away into the world, and she says, "Take care, little ones, for the world is big and you are small." And then she goes off and adopts more seeds. And so Miss Maple's Seeds is very, very cute. I highly recommend this one. This book called I Can Read About, it's an I Can Read About series, Baby Animals, is very, very wonderful. We got it a long time ago. It's just, I feel like it's been in our collection forever. It's a scholastic book, and I figure baby animals are perfect to talk about this time of year in the spring. We've got all sorts of baby animals. There's like a whale in here and raccoons and bears. So it's not just the typical Easter kind of animals. We've got lots of interesting facts, lots and lots of interesting facts about different creatures. And we have really enjoyed reading this one over the years. This next one is called A Fruit is a Suitcase for Seeds. This one is also a nonfiction book. It's written for probably a little bit younger of an age level than the Gail Gibbons book, but it's still fun for everyone. I love the illustrations, and it's a good one to have on your shelf, especially if you've got kids asking about seeds and asking about fruit. I had to include this little one today because I have a little girl who absolutely loves this book. Svea, my almost 11-month-old, loves Little Yellow Bee. And this is a series, oh boy, it says Cottage Door Press, but I've seen these before. Oh, this says Garden Lift-A-Flap, but they have other Lift-A-Flap books too. It's a very chunky Lift-A-Flap, so it's not like a thin page that you tear. It's got a thick cardboard. It's a board book. And this one rhymes. It says like the garden is full of colors to see, greens, reds, purples, and then you lift it, a little yellow bee. So Svea absolutely loves this one. It says it's for 6 months and up, and I think it's perfect for spring, maybe perfect for an Easter basket too. We really enjoyed this one. It's called Up in the Garden and Down in the Dirt. If you've got little ones who are curious about what all is going on down in the dirt in the garden, this one has been really interesting for us, and you learn about the different insects that maybe are dormant for a while. This is what the garden sometimes looks like, but they also have illustrations, and really, really beautiful illustrations, and they talk about all that's going on, not only the work up above in the garden, but what is going on down in the dirt. This one, I believe, might be part of a series. I feel like there's a book about snow that I've been interested in getting before, but I never quite pulled the trigger on buying that book. But this one is really cute for spring. I always love books by Alice and Martin Provenson. Not sure how to say it, but this is called A Book of Seasons. This is one of their simple books. We love the year at Maple Hill Farm and our animal friends at Maple Hill Farm especially. Those are hilarious and wonderful in how they describe all the creatures that live on the farm. But they talk about, in this book, they talk about all 4 seasons of the year, but I just feel like it's perfect in spring. Spring is like the rebirth of all the seasons every year in my mind, and so it's really fun to talk through all the different seasons. Even if you are discussing winter during springtime, there is definitely a section talking about how spring can be rainy or sunny, all sorts of things. So these books, these authors are really good. Any of their books have been really fun for us to read, and this Book of Seasons is a sweet one to have in your spring collection. This one is called Patrick, and it's from the Courageous book series. I don't have any other books in this series, but this is a way to get deeper into St. Patrick's Day. And while our family is not Catholic, it is fun to learn about who St. Patrick's Day is about. Kind of like how our family learns about St. Nicholas. We have that book I shared in our Christmas picture book collection video. It's about Nicholas. I think it's called Just Nicholas, and we have really enjoyed that one because it gives us good background knowledge on why he's called Saint Nick. And this is for, of course, St. Patrick's Day, and how he still wanted to share the gospel, share the message of salvation with the people who made him a slave. And so this has been a good one to have in our springtime collection because, of course, St. Patrick's Day is in March. This one is called The Dandelion Seed. This is a fun book because the illustrations are just gorgeous, really, really detailed illustrations, and some of them they almost look like a photograph, and they're like very up close. That's an acorn right there. There's something else. Anyway, you get really close here into the dandelion, parts of a dandelion, and the journey that this dandelion seed goes on. So this is a really whimsical and beautiful one for springtime. We are big fans of the Little Blue Truck in this household. We have, I think, all but one of the Little Blue Truck books, and we've had them pretty much memorized over the years. This is Little Blue Truck's Springtime. I love this one. I think it has really, really pretty springtime illustrations. It's actually a lift-a-flap book, but it's like got pretty thick paper. It's like kind of that cardboardy paper, not quite as thick as a board book. And I'm trying to open the barn here. Anyway, maybe I'll show you a different one. You can peek under a bush here, behind these bushes, and pretty much Little Blue Truck is going on a ride, as he often does, as one does in the springtime, and he's meeting all of the new little baby animals that have been born. So it rhymes in a really sweet way. It has such a cute cadence, like all of the Little Blue Truck books do, so I highly recommend this one. We've got a book perfect for Easter called The Easter Story. It's pretty simple, but I really like the illustrations and how it just lays out the Easter story in a very easy to understand way, and how Jesus rose again on the third day. So if you celebrate Easter in your family, definitely add this one to your wish list as well. It's a nice one to even include in an Easter basket too. Actually, I would say any of these books are perfect for an Easter basket. Here is one of my all-time favorites, like favorite picture books ever, called Miss Rumphius. You've probably maybe heard of it. It has won the American Book Award. It's about this little girl who grows up. It goes over her whole life story pretty much, and the adventures she takes and the goals she has, one of which is to make the world a more beautiful place, which she does by planting these beautiful flowers. And it's not necessarily a springtime book, I guess, but I feel like it's so perfect for spring, especially with the sowing of so many seeds and all the flowers blooming and springing up. So Miss Rumphius is a very sweet story, and I highly recommend it. This book is another favorite one that I guess surprised me over the years with becoming a favorite of mine. It's called Tiny Perfect Things. It's about a little girl, and I think it's her grandfather who she's going on a walk with, and they're searching for tiny perfect things. This book has very cute and whimsical illustrations, almost like it was done in colored pencil. Very skilled though, much more skilled than I could do in colored pencil. But she and her grandpa, I'm just gonna call him her grandpa, are going on a walk and searching all over for tiny things. And it does rhyme. They're going along, meeting neighbors, greeting people, and then just searching far and wide. They're looking up, they're looking down on the ground, looking behind things, looking in bushes for anything that kind of sparks wonder and joy for them. And I love that because they are just looking for small joys, and I like instilling that value in my children, among other things. And Tiny Perfect Things is a really perfect book for spring because you can go out on a walk and your own family can look for tiny perfect things. I love this book so much. It's called Spring for Sophie, and my friend gave it to me because my oldest daughter's name is Sophie, and it's so perfect. It's such a sweet book. Even if it was spring for not Sophie's name, I would have bought this book anyway, because Sophie, this little girl, is asking her mom when spring will get here, which is very understandable, especially for people who live in a colder climate, or like in Minnesota like we do. And Sophie is told to, sorry for all the rustling, I was trying to find a good picture to show you. She's told to listen for spring, listen for the sounds of spring, and watch for spring, and then feel spring like under her boots, you know, in the ground, and taste spring, so when the rain comes pouring down. So it's basically about a little girl looking for spring by using all of her senses. And I think it's really cute. It has beautiful illustrations. Definitely look into getting a Spring for Sophie. Here is the book, The Year at Maple Hill Farm. I mentioned these authors already, Alice and Martin Provenson, and they are so hilarious in the book. Our animal friends at Maple Hill Farm, which you could probably call a springtime book just because there's lots of baby animals to talk about and stuff like that. But this one goes through the year and the different things that happen during different seasons, of course, and they go month by month through the year. This is the page for June, and the illustrations are beautiful, and I just love how they describe kind of the setting and the scenery and what there is for kids to do on the farm, as well as what the animals are up to. This one is called When Spring Comes. I had gotten this book for one of the kids' Easter baskets, maybe Sophie's Easter basket when she was 1 or something, and I had just kind of picked it randomly, but it ended up being a really cute board book for us, and it talks about all the things that you can see and hear and what you can watch for when spring is coming, and it's really sweet for little kids. Spring comes with rain and more rain and more rain, and they talk about what you can do. Do you like mud? Do you like puddles? I hope you like umbrellas. So this would be a perfect one, again, for an Easter basket. Like I said, pretty much any of these are perfect for this time, that time of year. And I need to sit down and read this one with Svea because I have been holding this, keeping it aside so I can do this video, and now it's time to read when spring comes, I would say. The final book I wanted to include here is Frog and Toad, the storybook collection. I know it's not technically for spring, but there is a story in here about spring coming, and Frog wants Toad to wake up because spring is here, and Toad doesn't want to wake up. He wants to continue hibernating. Frog and Toad are just some of my favorite characters of all time. Arnold LaBelle is such a gifted writer. Look into his other books too, because I didn't really delve into all of his other books, but he's got amazing ones like Mouse Tales, Fables is hilarious, and he has Mouse Soup. He also has one called Owl at Home, which is so funny. So if you like Frog and Toad, look into other Arnold LaBelle books. But Frog and Toad, I feel like, is perfect to pull out for spring when you're starting to see more creatures out and about and you want to know what these two characters are up to. So definitely look into this one too. That's it for today's video. That's all the picture books I had to share with you today. Of course, if I remember anything later on, I always link it down in the description box below so you can check that out too. I hope it was fun and helpful for you to see our spring picture books. Thanks so much for watching and for being here. If you aren't already a subscriber, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content, any new videos that are coming your way. I also have an email list that you can subscribe to where I like to share new content on both the blog and on YouTube, as well as a tried and true recipe or meal idea recommendation for you. So make sure you sign up for that email list as well. And finally, I have an online motherhood and homemaking course. It's called the Present Mama Playbook, and you can sign up for the wait list for that. It is getting updates actually right now. It's going to have over 100 videos in it, so full of motherhood tips and things that can inspire and encourage, and also systems that'll help you run your home more smoothly behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, our goal is to be a more present mother with our children. Again, thanks for watching and for being here. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you're at, and I'll see you in my next one.